You know, friends, I am in a unique position in this federal election. I am the only person who can say that both of the men running to be Prime Minister once worked for me. And in that regard, my choice, without hesitation, without equivocation, without a shadow of a doubt, is Pierre Poilievre.
Hi, I'm Joseph Bourne. This is Born Truth, and today we have a very good story. Steven Harper openly endorses Pierre Poilievre and throws Mark Carney under the bus. Be sure to follow me on other platforms. I have X, TikTok, and Instagram under the same username, Joseph Bourne X. Let's get into it.
It is usually the case that when the United States has a recession, that it's very difficult for Canada to avoid something similar. There's been exceptions to that. With the financial crisis, 2008-9, when I was governor, we avoided a recession.
Well, first of all, they actually didn't avoid a recession. He himself came out and announced that they were in a recession. And he takes a very big part in fixing everything that happened in 2007, 2008 financial crisis. But the reality is, he actually had a very small role to play. And it was actually the Harper government that did most of the work. Matter of fact, here's Steven Harper saying the exact same thing.
And by the way, I say that as the guy who actually did lead Canada through the global financial crisis. I hear there's someone else claiming it was him. It was, of course, our government, the late, great Jim Flaherty, and our Conservative team who were responsible for the day-to-day macroeconomic management during that challenging time. And friends, it's no secret that our country faces today another historically challenging time in the form of the Trump administration.
Ooh, that's gotta sting. I mean, your former boss coming out and say that you're basically a blatant liar, which all the conservatives already knew, but I wonder if this is gonna hit the liberals' ears. But the thing about the liberals is, it seems that no matter what you tell them, no matter who comes out and endorses Pierre, even if it's Stephen Harper, the one that actually did fix this financial crisis, it doesn't really seem to hit them in their brain. It doesn't really seem to connect. I mean, it's very funny. I actually watched a video that kind of articulates this very well on TikTok. And it's actually with this person that helps people that go through the trauma of dating or being with or being around people who are narcissistic. And she lays this out very well, articulates this very well. I want you to think about this clip.
Liberal Party supporters in Canada remind me of victims of narcissistic abuse. I counsel people for a living in the areas of relationship and spiritual awakening, and narcissistic abuse is one of my areas of expertise. A lot of people in Canada are saying this upcoming election is basically an IQ test, but it's much more than that. I find observing the political left in Canada to be really fascinating from a psychological and a trauma perspective. So today I'm going to walk you through some of the similarities that I see with the Liberal supporters and victims of narcissistic abuse, starting with the love bombing. Back in 2015, when Justin Trudeau came on the scene, that whole Trudeau Mania campaign is what I would refer to as the narcissist's love bombing to get you interested in them. And then a lot of people became hooked on him. After a narcissist has lured you in under their charm, they start to show different sides of themselves. So for Justin Trudeau, that was things like all of his ethics violations, his photos being found of him wearing blackface and brownface, super racist stuff. But Trudeau supporters, just like victims of narcissistic abuse, deny, deny, deny. It doesn't matter that this guy's ruining the economy.
And then she basically goes on to say that a lot of the people that are voting Liberal right now, they're actually trauma victims of a narcissist, aka Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government, doing all these horrible things to them. But them just thinking, oh, you know what? They're going to do better. See, the people that weren't traumatized and that don't want to deal with narcissists and actually want to wake up, that's us. That's the conservatives. That's not the liberals. The liberals, they just want to believe that the liberals are going to save them. Even though this party has no history of saving them, they just make every single thing worse. They made crime worse. They doubled housing. They doubled the debt. They doubled all of these crazy things. And it's kind of crazy. Like Vancouver, Toronto, you can't buy a house. You can barely rent a house. Rent goes up 3 times as much as it was. And then they blame everything on the Harper government. Like they didn't balance their budget. I mean, it's very, very strange.
The bulk of the problems that afflict our country, falling living standards, declining employment and housing opportunities, rising crime, the growing divisions between our regions and our people, these were not created by Donald Trump. They were created by the policies of 3 Liberal terms, policies that the present Prime Minister supported and wants a 4th Liberal term to continue. Pierre has consistently opposed those policies. Policies that have put costs up, accelerated crime, left our wealth in the ground, and made our economy vulnerable and under America's thumb.
And might I add, all the policies that it seems that the liberals don't seem to have any problem with. Even all the liberals that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, people that I'm cool with, people that I'm not cool with, just people responding in comments, they all seem to think that the last 10 years have been perfectly fine, or it's been bad, but it's because of the Trump's tariffs. Well, Trump's tariffs haven't really affected us until about the beginning of the year. And it barely even affected us before that, because he only really tweeted about it before he was even president. So I really don't understand where people are getting this narrative from. It's like after Trump's tariff came in, everyone got permanent amnesia and they just forgot the whole last 5 years when crime went crazy. I mean, they were literally telling us to leave our keys at the front door so that the robbers can come rob it easier and no one can get hurt. I mean, of course, in Canada, we cannot defend ourselves against violent criminals, even though they have the guns, which, by the way, the Liberal government took our guns after gun crime went up, even though people that have guns have licenses. I have never met a criminal that thought, I need to go rob the bank. I bet it would be smart for me to go get a gun license and legally get a gun so that I can go rob the bank with it. No, I think it would be smarter for them to just rob the bank with an illegal weapon. But, you know, the Liberals have shown a track record of not knowing what the heck they're doing.
Now, the Liberals are trying to pull a fast one. They have a very simple strategy in this election. And here's what it is. Make you forget about the last 10 years. Everything they do will be about bringing collective amnesia of all the damage they've done. The first trick they've tried is replacing Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and a hand-picked successor, Mark Carney. Now, despite the artificially inflated resume and the more carefully combed hair and the banker's suit, there is no change. It is the same Liberal ministers, same Liberal MPs, same Liberal strategists making the same Liberal promises they have been making for the last 10 years. We know the results. Mark Carney has spent the last 2 months taking for credit for things he did not do, but refusing to take responsibility for the things he actually did. He was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor for the last 5 years, during which time he supported not only keeping the carbon tax, but hiking the tax. He opposed the Northern Gateway pipeline in testimony before a parliamentary committee.
You know, that's one thing that is really quite sad. It's very hard to prove that Mark Carney was actually the economic advisor, especially when you're talking to a liberal that wants actual proof that needs to be dated and have a thesis and all this other stuff, and definitely needs to come from a credible source. But, you know, it was basically on record that he was not an official advisor. So it's hard to prove that. But one thing that you definitely can prove is that 83% of the cabinet is exactly the same. And another thing you can prove is that he still supports all of the things that the liberals did. Most of the things, I'll say, most of the things that the liberals put in place. I mean, he's not getting rid of C-69, the anti-pipelines law. He's not getting rid of the actual carbon tax law. He's just positing at the pumps. And, you know, obviously he still has this whole net zero thing that he wants to do. Matter of fact, yesterday he came out saying a climate change video. I'm going to cover that later in another video. But he came out, did a whole conference on just climate change after saying that he's going to get rid of the carbon tax, which I cannot believe that Canadians actually believe this guy. I mean, this guy wrote a whole book called Values. He had 3 points in the introduction of that book, and one of those 3 points was climate change and net zero. So it's kind of funny that people actually still believe this guy, even after all the proof that he clearly wants to put the carbon tax on us. He really doesn't care whether or not it makes us broke, because he's a million or billionaire. So why would he care about that?
But guess what? Donald Trump doesn't get to choose our next prime minister. Canadians do, and they're going to vote for a change. It's not just Donald Trump that says it would be easier to deal with the Liberals. Today, again, the Chinese government was out campaigning for the Liberals, supporting Mark Carney, just like they did during the leadership race of that party. And who would wonder why? Mr. Carney, while he was economic advisor to Justin Trudeau, actually went to China to get his company a $250 million loan. A loan that his company still owes, and a company in which he continues to be invested.
Wow, I wonder how the liberals are going to cover for him this time. I mean, the Chinese government was literally putting out ads for his campaign, which, first of all, that was a very dumb move of them, because who are you advertising to? No one in Canada is going to see this ad. Well, actually, I guess we did, but it had a negative effect. It's kind of like when Trump put the tariffs on Canada, and then that probably had a negative effect that he wasn't expecting, that drove all the Canadians back into the arms of the liberals. So I don't know, maybe there's things that the foreign governments do that disrupt our election, and it's only really okay if it hurts the conservatives. But when it hurts the liberals, everyone seems to just forget about it. I don't know. The liberals, they have proven time and time again that they clearly have some type of retrograde amnesia. It's kind of funny. I don't know what's going to trigger them to actually remember what's happening and what's going on, but you can't really avoid this one. It was everywhere. I would be very surprised to see. I'm going to go and see what the liberals say to get rid of this one, but it is not going to be pretty. I hope that a lot of people see this, and I hope that a lot of people understand how serious this is, that a communist country is supporting the prime minister that you're voting for. If you want your country to be a communist country, just say that.
And we'll bring in a common sense law. My mother is here. She used to have those coupon books. Did you ever have those? Anybody have those? Remember when you used to sell those coupon books? My mother would drive clear across Calgary to go to a restaurant to get beef on a bun that would have a coupon savings on it. She knew how to squeeze every drop of value out of every single dollar. That's what our government should be doing. We should be getting value for money. Now, here's the reason that never happens. Politicians are always spending other people's money. While every other creature in the universe has to live with scarcity, the politician just passes the bill on to you. We will pass a dollar-for-dollar law. It requires we find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending. forcing politicians and bureaucrats to make trade-offs between this or that, or get a bargain on this and that. Because you've been pinching your pennies long enough, it's time for government in Ottawa to pinch pennies too.
See, I don't think people understand how enormous this announcement is. Like, I don't think people understand how amazing this policy is. If he can get this into actual legislation and make it a law, I promise you, it's going to be equivalent, if not better, than Doge. Because with Doge, now you have to go through everything line by line and see how everything works. This is way better. Now it's literally the law that if you don't get a price for if you don't get a good price and a good bargain, it's literally going to be against the law. And even when you do get a good bargain, you have to invest as you spend. So this is going to drastically reduce inflation, and it's going to invest a lot more money into our country. I think this is a beautiful policy. I don't know how he thought of this. Like, people keep saying that Mark Carney is this crazy, nice, smart economist. And whenever I hear one of Pierre Poilievre's policies, I go, I think he can give this guy an extreme run for his money, especially that capital gains one, where if you reinvest your money into Canada, the capital gains tax is 0 until you cash out. That is so smart. I mean, people are going to be investing in Canada like crazy because it's 0% tax on capital gains. This guy is so good. Like, I cannot believe people are trying to vote against this guy, calling him evil. But that's kind of the thing with liberals. They basically vote on, social issues and things that they're feeling and all this feeling stuff. Matter of fact, there's actually this study. They tested 136 people, I think men, and they gave them all testosterone. And they noticed that after giving these men testosterone, they tended to leave more conservative. So just a quick anecdote for you guys. Any of the guys that are voting for the Liberals, probably very emotional guys, 9 times out of 10, maybe 50% of them. I don't know what the actual percentage is going to be, but that's just what we came to understand after the experiment was done, which is very, very telling.
Thank you very much. Arnie, are we going to build some nuclear power plants in Canada?
Yes, all day, all week, all year, well into the future.
Right on. Give it up for the Boilermakers. Thank you, Arnie.
Finally, more energy. We need more energy. We need more LNG. We need more gas. And we definitely need more nuclear. We need to start making more energy, making energy cheap in this country. We should be the cheapest energy country in the entire world. We have all of these natural resources. We can build nuclear power plants. We have so much land. We have so much LNG. We have so much gas. I cannot understand why the Liberals want to just keep everything in the ground. I mean, Mark Carney literally came out and said he wants to keep 80% of it in the ground. Are you crazy? And then he says that he wants to make our country rich. You clearly don't. We have gold underneath our feet and you want to keep it in the ground? Ridiculous. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching Joseph Born Truth. I mean, what an amazing rally, right? 15,000 people in one room coming to see this guy. I think he said that broke a record for one of the biggest that we've ever had in this entire country. I mean, this was amazing. It has been great. I will catch you guys on the next video. It's been Joseph Born Truth, and I will see you guys next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment any of your thoughts. I will be in the comments reading every single comment, and let me know what you think the best part of this video was. Me, personally, I think it was Harper completely wrecking Mark Carney. I think he deserves it. Anyways, take it easy.